Welcome to Softcore History.
Welcome back to Softcore History. I'm your host for the week, Dan Regester, and as always, I am joined by my two pals, Rob Fox and Jake Golbin.
I actually, you said you're the host for the week?
My host for the week.
I think you're the host who is weak.
Okay.
Ooh, you got skeet.
Skeet. Am I looking smaller to you?
Yeah.
Looking tiny?
A little twinky. I honestly, if there's anything I could do to anyone from a movie, it would be to have that gypsy go up to you and be like, thin.
Oh, dude, Dan getting progressively thinner while trying to work out through it and eat through it. Be amazing.
Just eating like 8 rotisserie chickens a day.
We were talking about this a while ago, but it's like that concept is a funny concept. Like any adjective has a curse, but the funniest one would be gayer. Just getting progressively more like
what
ridiculous.
Does that even mean? You're just like, obviously you get into the same sex that you, but then what? You get like more and more like sub.
Like I don't know, like. But it'd be funny. It's like fatter. Like someone just
fatter is hilarious, but like gayer is. I don't even know what that.
Well,
at
like,
some point, it's just like bottomer. So you just like bury me in a well,
or like
put a pipe into my asshole, and then you just like come in the pipe.
Ew, Rob.
I don't know.
Man. Yeah, I mean, maybe
we're not behind a paywall right now, Rob.
I don't look. We do
Jesus.
Patreon first. I'm already like 3 or 4 drinks deep at that point.
What's an even weirder adjective than what I said though? Like, what would be one? Drunker.
Oh, why? You just die. You just become asleep or stupid at some point.
No, but you don't fall asleep. You're just progressively drunker. You're just like dragging your head on the ground.
Yeah.
So you're so drunk.
What if it was just like something subjective and kind of
cooler,
not vague? I was gonna say lamer. Where you just get like not nerdier. You know what I mean? Not anything.
You're not getting smart.
You just suck more and more.
Yeah, you're like the guy that walks in and everyone's like talking about what they did on the weekend. It's like, well, yeah, it was a little cold in my room, and so I used 2 blankets.
But that doesn't necessarily mean lame. It could be a guy who tries to be really social. And is, you know what I mean? Like, well, I ate 5 pussies this weekend. Let me tell you about the pussy I ate this weekend.
Like, you're going to tell someone about your weekend and just, like, ridiculous shit comes out of your mouth that makes you sound like an asshole.
Yeah.
They're
like,
lamer.
Oh, we ate this great restaurant. I ate a pussy. A hot pussy.
I think, have you seen I Think You Should Leave? The Tim Robinson show?
No, I haven't.
There's a sketch where he's at a adult haunting tour.
Yeah.
And so the host is like, and it's after 10 p.m. so we can drink and say whatever the hell we want. He goes, donkey cum. The guy's like, what? He goes, did like the ghosts ever like just come everywhere and be like boners and then leave? And they're like, what are you doing? Why are you talking like this? He's like, you said it's an adult tour. I could say whatever the hell I wanted. They're like, that's not what we meant.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going anymore,
no,
but
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
It's very good.
I would cry laughing at that.
You should watch that show. Everyone should.
I will. He was too good for SNL.
He was.
So how was everybody's weekend? Did you eat 5 pussies?
I ate 0 pussies.
Because your kid and your wife are gone, right?
Well, I was with them at an Airbnb. Like we were staying with her, my mother-in-law and whatever, and her husband at Horseshoe Bay. It was a nice house and everything like that. But I mean, dude, it's just like we're like first world refugees right now, where we just don't have a home to live in because it's getting fixed up and shit like that. So now we're back in our house for a couple days, fixing it up ourselves in the stuff that we didn't need other people to do while our kid's not there. He's still at Horseshoe Bay, so we're just away from our kid for a couple days.
Nice.
So my weekend was depressing. The most fun part was writing our Patreon episode.
Ooh. I'm glad we could give you some sort of resolve or like...
It wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
It was just more fun than everything else.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks.
It was your week. Go ahead and check that out. Patreon.com/Softcore History. Rob just did his episode on, was it the Brooklyn Bridge?
The Brooklyn Bridge Stampede. The bridge opened, and
one guy had a great take. One guy had a great story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, the Brooklyn Bridge opened, and everyone was like, this bitch ain't ready. but they all walked on it anyway.
They psyched themselves out
Yeah,
on the
and
bridge.
then a lady screamed, and they're like, "We knew it was gonna collapse!" And they
Yeah.
stampeded.
They went A to Z real quick.
Yeah. But it's really not about that. It's about how everyone reacted to it, and we like go through the news story that recounts it and all that stuff. So we kind of spoiler on the actual event. It's more about what happened inside the event.
Right. And I mean, we have a bunch of different content on the Patreon. I usually do a thing called Street Beefs behind the paywall. It's usually, we did Aaron Burr, Alex Hamilton.
We did 2 clans from Scotland.
Yeah, that was last week. But today, on the regular feed, I'm actually going to do kind of a street beef
Oh, you're just in a beef mode.
for free. Yeah.
Beef mode.
Always in beef
Free
mode.
beef.
Free beef, baby.
So today, we're actually going to talk about 2 women dueling.
Ooh. What? Lady fight?
Cat fight.
Cat fight.
So, little background info on women dueling. In 1467, Hans Tolhofer, I didn't pronounce that right at all, wrote a manual on the proper protocols of how women could engage in a duel.
Again, and we talk about this on the Patreon. Everything is content. Everything is content. Every ounce of life can be written about. Every ounce of life is content. And were women even dueling at that point? Did he just make it up? Did he speak it in? We talked about that on the Patreon too. Did people speak it into existence?
I think Hans might have.
he manifested it.
He manifested women dueling, but rather than imagining 2 women fighting, he wrote the manual as if they were engaging in physical combat with a man that had wronged them. So doing so, he obviously
That is better.
tried to handicap the disputes, advising that a man in the scenario should have to stand in a hole up to his waist the entire time.
To fairly fight a woman?
Yes.
So she gets the high ground.
She gets the high ground. He has to stand in a hole.
Okay. Now, does he have to dig the hole to exhaust himself a bit?
That seems only fair.
Didn't look into those details, but that seems like that would make it more fair.
It
yeah.
would.
I feel like the fight would dissolve by the time they were ready to have the fight. It's like, she
kill
just
me.
is that like how the fights, like the glove is the dueling thing, right?
Yeah.
Woman just walks up to you with a shovel. It's
Yeah.
like, all right,
There you
bitch,
go.
time to fight. Start digging.
She's just watching him like, you're digging your own grave.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone's ever dug anything ever, within 5 digs, you're like, yeah, I want this to be my grave.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Digging
to
holes
die.
isn't that fun.
Digging ditches.
Builds character.
I
Does.
guess.
I always had to do that when I was grounded.
Dig holes.
What?
I had to dig holes.
Did your
land did you
parents?
people
Were your
have?
parents the Yelnitzes?
It's like a backyard.
We didn't have a whole lot of land, but I remember there was a summer where I was grounded for like an entire month because I was sneaking out drinking, and I got caught, and I had to
Is that when you found the natty in the trash can?
different time.
Okay.
But I had to dig the underground wire trench for our hot tub that we just bought. So
So you-
I had to dig throughout the entire backyard, just like
Right.
6 feet deep.
If I was your dad, I would have been like, well, you know, by the way, you're going to dig this trench so that I can get in your mom's trench.
In this hot tub.
Yeah. Just so you know.
High registers.
Yeah, they listen every week.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not on the Patreon, are we?
No, we're not.
Just talking right at him, dude.
Sorry.
Either way, my mom doesn't like you, so
That I believe it,
Does she like me?
and it's fine.
she's indifferent to you.
That's all I can ask for, really.
There was 2 types of parents.
She's also indifferent to me, so
That's fair. Growing up, I had 2 different types of parents. There's parents who loved me and parents who thought I was a piece of shit. And there was no in between.
I don't think many parents didn't like me, but I feel like there's one that didn't.
In
see, for
particular.
me, it
Yeah.
was parents that either loved me or parents that were wrong.
Yeah. They didn't like that.
Because I was the
quip.
kid that would say fucked up shit and not realize that I was saying it in front of people. Like they're fucking like, I'd be like, 13 or 12 or 11, and their like 7-year-old daughter would be like walking around the corner, and I'd be like, fuck your dog with a dildo. And then, like they would hear it and the kid would hear it. But I thought we were in the basement alone, like me and, my
Yeah.
friend, whatever. Or I'd just like some fucked up shit. I'd just say fucked up shit, and it would always be too loud.
Mhm.
And they'd be like, that kid's a piece of shit.
Shit don't change.
Shit don't change.
Rob says fucked up shit too loud all the time.
I misspeak constantly.
Yeah.
That's all I do is say the wrong fucking thing.
It's called comedy.
I
Now,
get sure.
according to this manual by Hans Toloffer, whatever the fuck his name is, the woman would win the dispute, the duel, if they could drag the man out of the hole.
What? That sounds hard.
That's harder than a fight.
Yeah. Just kill him. He's in a hole already.
I think you win the dispute.
You got to beat him senseless and then drag him out of the hole. But yeah, it would be.
I guess if you murder him, then drag him out.
I think you've won before the drag.
If you just murdered him and then left him
in the hole
and then just kind of dug him back in.
Right. I guess you got to drag him out just for pomp and circumstance.
Is this parody? Like, is this a satire thing? Like, how to serve men, basically?
There's just a lot of pomp and circumstance in the past, right? It's like a Catholic mass or something. There's a lot. You got to go through so many motions, so many things. I assume temple's the same way. To be honest, there's a lot of just like extraneous.
There's a lot of songs,
steps.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, dude, you got to say a prayer before you open the thing. You got to say a prayer when you're bringing the thing out, the Torah out, the little house the Torah lives in. You got to say stuff before you even open the doors.
Our communion lives in a house.
Oh, does it? You got a little
tabernacle.
Yeah, it's essentially tabernacle. Yeah, tabernacle's the same thing between our religions. So
now, in the 15th century, a man could represent the woman as their champion. That was typically
how things went.
How things went.
Imagine being in a friend zone with a chick you really wanted to bang. Someone else offended her. She was still never gonna fuck you, but she was like, Gregory will defend my honor. Right, my good friend Gregory. I'll never fuck him. But he's a good friend, and I've been offended, and Gregory will fight for me.
He will lay his life on the line.
For my honor.
I bet that happened pretty often.
That had to happen.
It sounds like a lot of...
It did not happen in history.
Yeah, that had to have happened.
Someone died that way.
Yeah.
Someone fucking died that way.
Someone died in the friend zone. They went in, and they never left.
What's the over-under on people who have, like, pre-modern times, we'll call it pre-20th century or pre-19th century, died because of the friend zone?
Thousands. I'm going to guess thousands.
Okay.
Yeah, probably up there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with tens of thousands.
Probably.
5 digis.
I'm going 5 figs. Yeah. Poor Gregory.
I mean, how many people nowadays are dying on Twitter?
Yeah, well, now it's just she tells you to kill yourself over the phone, and then you do it.
And then you do
and you
it.
get back in the car, yeah.
Now, women fighting other women was rare, but not unheard of. They were referred to as petticoat duels.
Oh.
Typically fought over trivial BS like men.
Classic.
The most useless thing to fight over.
Yeah.
Most notably, 1552 Naples duel between noblewomen Isabella de Carazzi and
Italian, whatever.
de Patanella.
Yeah, Countess Bibbidi Bobbidi and Countess Bobbidi Boo, whatever.
Right.
Who
We're
gives a
not
shit?
here to talk about that though. By the 19th
I like it when it's
century,
Italian because I can be super racist.
those are the only people you can be racist against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just let loose.
Actually, the fact that Spain gets such a pass on total colonization as colonializers in like the grander colonialism.
Oh, you can't say fucked up shit about Spaniards because it'll come off as saying fucked up shit about Mexicans or something.
Right, but like I was sitting at a table, I was like, Spain gets a really big pass. So does Belgium.
They also get a giant pass for World War II.
For not participating? They wouldn't have been on the good side.
No, they were allies to the Axis.
They stayed neutral.
Not really.
They were neutral-ish. Look, the Germans could have used that extra couple 100,000 of troops.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how much harder D-Day and shit would have been if, 500,000? They had 500,000 extra Spaniards to man the fucking Atlantic Wall.
Yeah. Would have been really hard.
Yeah, I'm going to let the Spaniards have a pass on that. What you are right about is they get a pass on fucking colonialism.
Right.
But it's because they made the smart move and they became a worthless country around the beginning of the... I mean, dude, they were pretty worthless by the time America got independent. You know that France wasn't the only country to help us with independence. Spain was the other one.
Oh.
But Spain's just trash
What'd
at
they
this
do?
point. They tossed their navy in there too, but it was really all the French. Like
Okay.
the Spanish have been essentially, I mean, they peaked early.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I don't think that was all altruistic either. Like that was just like
None
I
of
don't
it was
want.
altruistic.
Yeah, it's like we don't want Britain having all that
Yeah,
shit.
none
yeah.
of it was altruistic.
Yeah.
All of that, everything up to the end of World War I, you could just call the same war.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, you could. And it would be like, it's like, dude, we're just trying to snipe Alabama's recruits, man. It's not like we want, like, when Alabama loses, it's not like I'm happy for the other team. I'm just
Right.
happy to see someone beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what they were, like, doing with Britain.
Oh, yeah.
Now, by the 19th century, it was more and more common and seen as a weirdly progressive step for women's rights movement.
Don't think it's weirdly progressive at all. I think it's absolutely progressive.
For women to fight for themselves.
If men are doing it, yeah, you two murder each other.
Giselle d'Estac, a notable French writer at the time, said that if a woman employed a male champion rather than taking up the sword herself, she was committing a deed of inferiority.
Yes, she-cuck. She says she-cuck.
She's cucking herself out
Yeah,
of a good,
she-cuck.
good fight.
A good scrap.
Good scrap. By the way, if you you're not really in MMA, but you want to like appear to be, just call every fight a scrap.
It's a good scrap.
A hell of a scrap.
Is that what it is?
Mhm.
About.
My favorite thing you say in the MMA about anything at any time is calling somebody a tomato can.
What is
That's
that?
boxing too.
Yeah.
It's
Is
anybody
that bleeds easy? Or?
No, someone that's a jobber. So like in wrestling terms, jobber is just like a guy that gets squashed. A tomato can in boxing or UFC is a guy that's going to get destroyed.
Is
He's just there to take punches.
He gets some money and gets his ass kicked, basically. All right.
I don't know where that comes from.
Tomato
Like,
can?
yeah, you sometimes you just go to the grocery store and punch tomato cans. Because,
Actually started when Brock Lesnar made a dummy out of tomato cans. He made a mannequin.
did he?
No.
Maybe it was Russell Crowe and Cinderella Man. I don't know. Just beating up some tomato cans.
Yeah, it could have been. That was actually his job. That's how he got good at boxing again. He worked on the docks a little bit, but he would crush the tomatoes, and then they get canned.
Yes.
Now, the duel we're going to talk about today happened in the summer of 1892.
That is a late duel. Holy shit. 18?
1892. It's almost 1900.
Damn near modern.
It's one of the last, actually. Princess.
That is, by the way, 1892 is just barely outside of living memory.
No.
Mhm. It takes place between Princess Pauline Metternich and Countess Anastasia Kielzmanek, who is Russian by birth.
So this is a nobility duel.
Yes.
Sick.
A nobility duel over a disagreement with, guess?
Man.
No.
Disagreement, like what they're disagreeing on?
Yeah, what are they disagreeing on?
It's not about men, I don't know.
Who's dressed better?
Close.
Okay.
The floral arrangement at the Vienna musical theatrical exhibition for the gala.
We dueling over flowers?
They're dueling over flowers.
That's actually worse than men. That's more stereotypical. That's like brutally.
Again,
brutally.
it makes sense though, because you got to think, like, what did the nobility really do all day? They
They
decorate
had
women.
petty thing. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like now how people, you'll call like minor things oppression
Yeah,
because you've.
never been oppressed in your life.
Right. So it's the same thing. Like they don't have real problems. They have beyond even first world problems. They have.
They have nobility problems,
Right.
which is, oh man, someone didn't bring me clipped flowers to arrange.
So they don't have life and death situations, so they have to dream up life and death situations.
Right, and if they didn't have these petty things like flower arrangements, they'd be just cripplingly bored.
Yeah.
So it is high stakes. For
They
them.
should do what Marie Antoinette did and just, build a whole peasant village to play peasant.
She played peasant.
Yeah, they would cosplay as peasants
That's
on the grounds of the Louvre, or not the Louvre, of Versailles.
that had to have been bad optics.
Who saw it?
Oh, you couldn't see it. Like I guess people couldn't walk by
I mean,
Versailles.
probably heard about it, but they don't know if it's true or not. It's not her stories,
Yeah,
It's
fair
not
enough.
like, LOL, milking this goose. Do you milk geese?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm full.
I'm full.
Yeah,
What a sentiment.
I'm not hungry.
Like, there's people that probably have no idea what that sensation felt like in their entire life.
Yeah.
Overfed.
So the princess was the exhibition's honorary president, and the Countess was the president of the Ladies' Committee. Pauline had a reputation for her fashionable taste and her appreciation of the finer things in life, like fitted dresses, classical music, and cigars. She liked to smoke a stogie.
Sounds like a real rapscallion.
Yeah. She also had a high society crew like Empress Eugenie of France, as she was a fixture in both Vienna and Paris, working with multiple charity and art foundations. She was also in her 50s at this time. She was 56 to be exact.
That tells me something.
She's 56.
How old's the other chick?
Much younger.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, well, there's a new fold. There's a new wrinkle in the story.
Do you want a funner wrinkle?
Yes.
It was roughly around this time that her husband, who was also her uncle, died.
So she's rich.
She's your aunt?
Her husband uncle.
Oh. So she was the 50-year-old.
The 56-year-old, her husband, was
also her uncle.
But
and had just died.
okay, but how uncle?
First.
No, but I mean like
Her
related?
mother's
'Cause there's
brother.
her mother's half brother.
Oh.
Okay, but so there was some blood there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had just died, so she was understandably, a little highly emotional. And the Countess Anastasia was the up-and-coming bad bitch on the block who had serious ambition. She was young enough at this time to
Running
be
that flower game.
Pauline's daughter. She was like half her age. She was in her 20s, I believe.
Okay.
They didn't put it in. I couldn't find like an exact
What I
date
would
when
do
she
if
was
someone
born.
twice my age challenged me to a duel was decline
Yeah.
and let time handle it.
It's like, I'll wait.
Yeah. Be like, here's the thing. I can maybe be at your funeral or definitely be at your funeral. I have those two options. Forgive me if I choose definitely.
Yeah.
Anastasia said her tastes were trash and the flowers at the gala ruined the event.
That's awesome.
Bickering back and forth over a couple glasses of champagne, and it was decided they could only solve this dispute with bloodshed.
Sick.
Yeah, so the flowers, I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say they neither added nor took away from the event. No one noticed them.
Yep. And anyone who's ever paid for a wedding.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, did you?
Let me take that back. I didn't pay for a single cent of my wedding. But anyone who's ever seen the bill for a wedding would be a better way to put it.
For anyone that's planning a wedding right now, and if you're having a hard time with the flowers, just know you will not even remember what you picked out.
Actually, to be fair, my wife thinks that our whatever plant flower situation was like the best part of the decorations and everything.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember your flowers.
The women do.
Do they?
All the women do.
I'll ask Katie if she remembers the flowers when I get home.
She'll remember the greenery.
Well, you have to give some
yes.
people their flowers,
What?
Sometimes you got to give people their flowers.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
You talking about virginities?
No.
You can't give that to someone. You can't give
I don't
someone
know
their
what's happening.
virginity. Yeah. What do you explain yourself?
Kendrick Lamar tells us to give LeBron his flowers.
What?
What is this?
Where are we going right now?
Like
we
vague,
can-
deep cuts.
Yeah, I know. We can move on. So, obviously, 1892, Austria, the practice of a duel is kind of illegal at this point.
It's 1892.
It should be illegal.
Dude,
at
it
this
was
point.
illegal in America, which is, I mean, you still had like Wild West shit going on in America a little bit, but like, actually, OK Corral would have been around this time. But
It's still a crime.
that wasn't a duel.
yeah.
That was basically
It was a shootout.
that was just a police shootout.
Yeah.
That's like saying that L.A. bank robbery where those two guys were just cracking off their AKs
Mhm.
at the entire LAPD. Like that was a duel. No, like that OK Corral
It was a
wasn't duel.
crime. It was a
Right,
shootout.
right, right.
Yeah.
Like dueling, dueling basically you stop hearing about it around the Jackson presidency, which is the 1820s.
Yeah.
So this is, if you were
70
born in
years.
1820, you're dying about now.
Yeah.
So they traveled to Vaduz in Liechtenstein, is that?
Yeah, Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein on the Swiss frontier to duel it out. This was considered the first emancipated duel, as no men were originally in attendance.
There's no duel I'd rather attend.
Yeah.
So their seconds and the entire medical staff were women.
Okay, but were there watchers?
Yeah, the people that were watching were all women.
No guys who wanted to show.
No dudes. It was solely so
right.
Emancipated Duel. It was the first of its kind. It's
Sick. Cool.
women only.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be
Another
a
win
fun,
for women.
a fun like sketch to do, or even like short film, is just like the people that showed up to watch the first Battle of Bull Run. They were like whole picnics.
Yeah. No, they sold tickets, didn't they, or something like
They
that?
sold tickets, but it was just like, oh, this will be a fun day.
Like, yeah, it's a civil.
It was just like, but it was like a fucking slaughterhouse.
yeah.
Fuck.
And then their side lost because it was mostly Union people. They were like, let's go watch. Oh, lovely.
Well, beat
And then
the
there's just, like,
Southerners.
Poor people's intestines spilling out, and the Confederates are like coming at them. Bunch of fucking toothless rednecks, or like, I mean, like the generals weren't, but like the fucking, it's just poor people fighting each other.
That's not too crazy. The episode we did last week on the Patreon was the two clans and like almost 1,400 Scotland.
Yeah, and the king was like, let's make it a show.
Let's make
It
it.
reminded me of Bull Run. I
Yeah.
forgot to bring it up then, but that's the same fucking situation.
Weapon of choice for this were, I believe they're called rapiers, which
Yeah.
were thin, light, fast fencing swords.
Yeah.
Primarily used to thrust stab with the end of the blade. The sides were
I think
virtually
it's basically
edgeless.
what people use for fencing.
Yeah,
They are. Yeah.
just with a point.
Yeah.
Little fencing swords. Their seconds were women Princess Schwarzenberg and Countess Kinsky, and the medical staff was Baroness Labinska. They stripped off their tops to prevent small strips of cloth that could be trapped in sword wounds and cause infection, according to the Baroness.
So it's
I
a
just-
topless sword fight.
I have to ask.
Titties out, yeah.
There's no men.
This is the topless sword fight.
This is a topless sword fight.
So that's the title of the episode.
Yeah.
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 Tits out for the duel. Tits out for the duel.
Topless cat fight.
Topless sword fight.
Or
Just
sword
topless
fight,
sword
yeah.
fight. Topless sword fight.
I'd click that.
Now, the Baroness
I
had a medical degree from the University of Poland.
someone make this movie.
I'm sure.
I'm surprised Ross hasn't got a script somewhere for this yet.
I know.
I need the topless sword fight movie.
Yeah, there's your left turn.
Yeah.
Like, why is he talking about? Oh, they're topless.
I like that you guys just think I do the Shyamalan twist now. Like
You
Rob's
always do.
episodes have the Shyamalan twist.
It's like, oh, okay. There's a left turn.
Like, you
coming
think
here.
it's gonna be this, but it actually is.
The Baroness, who was the medical attendant, had a medical degree from the University of Poland and was an early adopter of germ theory. Having seen many superficial battle wounds turn septic and fatal because fragments of dirty cloths were driven into them, the Baroness insisted both parties remove all clothing above the waist.
Yeah, I would suggest that too. That sounds
Smart.
right. That sounds really smart.
Smart.
Yeah,
Smart.
agreed.
Now, 1892, female doctors were still pretty uncommon in this era.
No
And
way.
I mean, it was mostly, wasn't Curie the one who washed her hands first? Something like that? I forget.
Who washed their hands first? You
Was
want
it
me to
a
Google that?
I feel like it was. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I think like a lot of nurses like noticed, like, doctor, hey, you just kept shoving your hands and like you shoved your hands in like 8 dead guys and then took a shit and just wiped your ass with your own hand. And then I feel like the like guy who had a bullet wound, but like it wasn't that bad, just a nick on his arm. I feel like he died because you just kept like petting his bullet wound with your
Dirty
hand covered in
hands.
shit and dead people's blood. And then the doctor was just like, "Shut up, bitch."
It's like it's Mad Men when one of the girls is in the OBGYN. It's like he like one, he's smoking during the entire
I was
thing.
gonna say, I assume OBGYNs in the 60s ashed in the vagina.
God, that's gross, dude. But like,
Like, they're
it
just
just like
Pussy looks fine.
the guy like just picks up the gloves though and puts them on to start the examination. It's like they were just sitting out.
Yeah.
And it's like he didn't
Right.
change his gloves out. The first person to start hand hygiene was Ignaz Semmelweis from Hungary in the 19th century.
Okay.
A lady?
That was a guy.
This
All right.
guy. All right. So there was actually a British army surgeon around this time named Margaret Ann Bulkey in the 1800s who practiced medicine for over 40 years under the male alias James Barry because most medical schools didn't accept women until after World War I.
So
when
she
there was a doctor shortage.
so she Joanna manned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's, I guess, one of the first, I guess, technically trans doctors.
No, she's not trans. She just fucking
Cross-dressed. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cross-dressed.
That is the type of just
Joan of Arc
probably a
type
stolen
deal,
valor
right?
situation that would happen. But I assume she was like there were Civil War soldiers that did that too. Like it was just women that wanted to fight.
Right.
Like strong, especially in the North, like abolitionist women that were like, "Fuck this, I'm grabbing a gun," but they had to like pretend to be men. And people were like, "Were they trans?" It's like, no, they
wanted to fight.
wanted
they
to
just
fight.
were pro human rights and
Yeah.
wanted to fight. Like, there's still plenty to like about them.
Yep.
So as is tradition in duels, their seconds, the doctor, and anyone in attendance had to have their backs turned to the two women as to not witness the battle.
Right. I didn't see nothing.
One just had a hole in him.
It's always the dumbest thing.
Plausible
You're there,
deniability.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, what was happening right before you turned your back? Well, they were.
They took their tits out. I don't know.
They're
It was
taking
crazy.
the top off. That's why I turned around.
Yeah.
They're probably lesbians. I don't want to see that. Right? You know, that's a crime. It's 1892.
That was kind of another selling point by the Baroness, saying to take your tops off because it was just a room full of women, so there was no, horny men around to
To ruin it.
ruin the moment, I guess.
They don't make this horny. Don't make
Some-
this fight horny.
Some man would have ruined that.
Oh, for sure.
It's like someone would be like,
So,
they're like, this is about honor. Or someone would like the 20-year-old takes her top off and they're like, yeah.
honor. I want to get honor.
50-year-old
Yeah.
takes her top off and they're like, meh.
Like, it's time to get out of here.
Guys suck.
Yeah, teeth are terrible.
We're the worst.
Haven't you listened to this podcast?
Yeah, we're not.
We're not great.
We're crass and barbaric.
Now, the duel itself was a relatively short fencing match.
I imagine so.
It went 3 rounds, whatever
Damn.
that means, as neither had experience swinging swords or weapons of any kind.
And that's the
Didn't
weapon
train?
they picked?
They didn't train?
No, they're just two, high-class
They were just going to
noble
slap
women.
at each other with swords?
It's kind of sick.
It was pretty pathetic because both missed fairly often. They were just kind of swinging into the wind.
It
and
feels like if you didn't know how to use a sword, you would do the opposite of missing.
You would be really good
You'd
at.
be landing too many blows because you wouldn't know how to block well.
You'd be getting hit a lot.
Like as whoever just is swinging more at the other one is going to be winning, right?
Taking shots.
So nobody actually gets hit until Princess or Anastasia catches Princess Pauline on the nose out of sheer
Ooh.
luck.
Nose shot. And did her
Not
nose go away?
Oh, no, just a little scratch. So she drew blood. So technically, this was supposed to be when the duel was over.
So whoever draws blood
whoever
first.
draws
Oh,
blood first.
okay. So it's not to
It
the
wasn't
death.
to the death. No, it was
Okay.
just kind of like a defend your honor.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little drunk argument about flowers. I want to make you bleed.
That's actually a real offensive way to do it too, right? Because that'll show.
Right on
Yeah.
their nose.
Yeah, anything neck up is going to show.
And again, typically in a female duel, once first blood is drawn, it's considered over. Anastasia, knowing this, drops her guard, drops her weapon.
Uh-oh.
Princess.
Hold on, can I guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Gets all her titties sliced off.
All of them.
Yeah.
No. Princess Pauline didn't hear no bell, though.
I play to the echo of the whistle.
And she stabbed the Countess in the arm.
Good God. Where? Do you know where? Like in the
Like right through the arm.
okay, like
Yeah.
right in the bicep type
Yeah.
of situation.
Oh, with the sight of blood, both women's seconds, who I guess turned around at this moment thinking it was over, allegedly fainted.
Oh boy.
At least they didn't cause
Not
a
a great day
stampede.
for women on our podcast.
No.
Between the Patreon and this, I just
Yeah.
want you to know in the Patreon episode we recorded before this, a woman screaming caused 12 people to die.
Yeah. Literally get trampled to
A
death.
couple kids.
Yeah. Some guy lost an arm or a leg or something. It was bad.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, Anastasia thinks she won the bout. Pauline stabs her in the arm. Kind of like a little cheap shot.
Pauline's the old one, right?
Yeah.
Pauline's the old one, yeah.
Yeah.
So things get a little heated, right? They keep
Because they weren't
going at each other.
already.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware. This
Also,
fight is hot.
If there's one, first off, you can't trust the old bitch. Like the old one has nothing to lose. That is the arrogance.
She just
of
lost
you-
her husband. She just lost her husband.
regardless of
husband,
that,
oh,
she's in her
yeah.
50s.
Yeah.
That is the arrogance of youth to be like, I did it. I won.
I got you on the nose.
Yeah. No. Because a 50-year-old is a psycho, and it's just going to keep going. I read something a couple months ago. There was like a good article on Michael Jordan, and he was talking about how some just like rando on the Bobcats, which he owns, not like a good player, but not like one of their best players, whatever, was like, I could take you now, cook you now for sure. And Jordan was like, all right, I'll play you. And like he played him hardcore one-on-one on the fucking court at whatever arena they play at. And I guess Jordan beat him. And the reporter like came up to the next day, and Jordan was like dead, like getting like had 4 masseuses on him, like every part of him, whatever.
Yeah.
But like the whole point being that like that dude was like, yeah, I could cook you, and he didn't, and he lost, and like, oh, it's all right, whatever, I lost. But Jordan was like, I'm willing to destroy my body,
Just to prove you wrong.
right?
Yeah. 'Cause I'm
And he
better.
did, and he
Yeah.
basically did.
Yeah.
Now, I guess a few men around the area heard all the commotion,
Classic man.
stepped in, and they tried to stop
Sounds like breasts are out,
stop the cat fight.
right?
The topless cat fight. Thinking the men had other motives with the women being topless, the Baroness actually steps in too with her umbrella and chased the men off, screaming, "Avert your eyes, you lustful wretches."
Got him.
So
Gotta say,
they were just trying to step in and stop.
were they on horseback?
They were not on horseback, no.
Oh, okay,
Guys ran in, hands first.
Yeah.
Let's help them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
And then she pulls out an umbrella.
Smart
To be
move.
fair, if someone started umbrella like open and close at me, I'd leave.
Yeah. That's just most animals would. They're like,
Yeah. I don't want any part of that.
that's weird.
So everything kind of comes to, like, everybody calms down eventually, and this was like a weird thing they mentioned. The two apparently had an embrace, kissed, and made peace. Like, I don't know why they.
dude.
I think that was
Nice.
a little bit of editorial, isn't? I think they
Did a man write
editorialized
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is just like the plot to a porn.
romance novel at minimum.
Actually, this is a really bad, like, late night Showtime Cinemax type. Oh, it's so hot. We don't want to get infected. We should take our shirts off.
Yeah.
Oh, that sword's so sharp.
It's like in a lot of films now too, where like even The Mummy Returns, you have the two kind of like essentially fighting naked with swords.
What?
In The Mummy
Oh, yeah,
too.
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
There's a few different things that kind of like.
I love The Mummy Returns. It's a good movie. It's a
I
great
always
movie.
wonder this in, like, movies where there's a female warrior. It's like, why'd they make breasts in your armor? Like, why does your armor have boobs? It doesn't make sense. They probably had binders at that time. Like,
yes.
why would they need to make it, like, wouldn't you just make it, like, go out a little bit? Like, you don't
I
need
don't-
perfectly sculpted.
Yeah, you definitely
boobs.
don't need perfectly sculpted boobs on
In-
the armor.
yeah.
I don't know if it's better to have like a little extra space or not.
Yeah.
So it might make sense to me. Again, like I don't know either way.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes sense to bind it and just kind of normal plate. Maybe it makes more sense to get a little
like a little bump, right? But,
bump.
like, when you see, like, it's like,
yeah, when it's perfect tits.
it's
on
like,
the
oh,
armor.
wow. It's like, that's the shape of her
Although,
boob
to
in
be
the armor.
fair, if it's like a royal with that armor,
They're not fighting in it.
and every royal's armor, there's no reason to put a 6-pack on the armor either. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree with that as well.
Right. Like there's
That's the perfect shape of this one ab right,
right,
here.
right,
yeah.
right. Like a roy, if it's like a princess's armor, I understand the perfect titties because they're probably not going into it.
Yeah.
But if it's like I don't know, if they made a woman, if they threw a woman in the middle of a hoplite column, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
her perfect titty armor.
It's
I'd be
like,
no.
I don't think the blacksmith was doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. They were whatever mass production was back then, they were trying to do it.
Yeah.
If it's a royal, but again though, if it's a royal, I guess I understand it. I mean, for a movie, it's ridiculous either way. But
So Princess Paulina was declared the winner.
because she drew blood first.
No, because she did more damage.
Oh wait, hold on. The old one.
Yeah.
Old one won. Yeah.
Old one won, but she lost.
No.
Technically, but she's also the princess and also stabbed.
I didn't hear
and
no
did more
bell.
damage. Yeah. So, even though she did it after the fight and probably should have been caught after she got her nose scratched, she picked up that dub. And her honor
Hi.
was
By just refusing to
Quit. I'm
Like,
not
it's like
losing.
The clock hits 0 and Alabama's like, no, we get the ball back.
We get one more return.
Yeah.
It's like, why? We just do.
We just fucking do.
Yeah.
The story was such a big world news, it made its way to the U.S., where the Los Angeles Times reported on the event and just said it was a real fight and both were wounded, no hair pulling or plane scratching, but a duel with rapiers.
This was no fight for sissies now.
What year did this take place?
1892.
So literally 10 years after our Patreon episode. 9 years after.
Yeah.
Right. So
So
about
12
the same level of reporting.
Yeah.
Also,
Seriously.
what country was this in?
So they're
Austria.
they're Austrian nobles.
But they went to Liechtenstein.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of the Swiss frontier.
LA Times covering a fucking duel.
To be fair, Liechtenstein is the weird New Jersey island of Europe.
It is bizarre that exists.
Is Liechtenstein? I don't get.
It's
It's
like-
so small.
It's like bitch Switzerland.
It's yeah. It's this weird country that's in the middle of Germany, like Italy and Switzerland.
I believe it took the Nazis literally 1 day to conquer
Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
Yeah,
Because
well,
it barely counts.
Liechtenstein also, I believe, offered kind of I think if the Pope ever had to leave the Vatican, they offered up like kind of clearance or whatever. Like you can come to Liechtenstein.
Sick.
So
And he's
that-
like, neat. Maybe I'll
Actually-
come.
This is really bizarre and random. I went to grade school with a family from Liechtenstein.
Yeah. What were
So
they
I'm
like?
like familiar with the country just based
What
on
are the people that are living in Liechtenstein or from there called? Liechtensteinians?
I guess
Liechtenstein.
Ligmas.
Like, got him. Yeah, no, I know nothing about. That's what I'm gonna go on Wikipedia
It's
about.
just Swiss.
It's
It's just Swiss.
it's like
Because if you know what Switzerland's like, I mean, it's just Switzerland is just a little.
well, it's like Monaco's really just Italy, France, Italy, France.
It's France.
It's more France, okay,
Yeah,
but it's
I mean,
Italy.
in the middle of France.
Is it? I thought it was near Italy.
Well, it's on the Mediterranean, but it's completely surrounded by France.
Is it? Oh man, see, I don't know enough geography anymore. Yeah, but still, like, yeah, it's France.
It's like San Marino is the one that's completely surrounded by Italy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the middle of Italy, there's just a country called San Marino.
It's like
Well,
Sunset
actually,
Valley.
Italy has two
Yeah.
countries fully in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's the Sunset Valley. The Vatican is the Sunset Valley of Europe.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and to kind of bring this full circle, how we were kind of dunking on this group of people. After the fact, after the duel, the princess then denied it even happened and
Ooh.
said that it was a ridiculous invention by Italian journalist.
Oh, well, of course, those
Yeah.
Italian journalists. They'll do it. They're like, what's with your nose?
I scratched it
Yeah.
on a thorn from a flower.
I sniff roses like a woman does, and you're rude for asking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, what happened to her arm? Was her arm sniffing a rose? A fucking 8-inch rose?
Why is there a hole in her arm?
Yeah. That one, yeah, the one you fought. There's a hole in her arm today.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, she was born like that.
Yeah.
She's always had that armhole.
Sometimes, clearly, you don't understand menstruation.
Yeah.
It can
Or
happen anywhere on the woman's body.
yeah, it's a noble thing. You wouldn't get it.
So this went on
That would fly in 1892, by
That
the way.
would.
when she was 56. How long do you think Princess Pauline lived to?
Lived? I'm going to guess another 50 years.
She's still alive today.
No, she lived to 1921, so she died at 85.
So she lived like another 30 years
Mhm.
after that. That's crazy.
Middle-aged.
Back then, yeah.
That's a long life.
It's
Everything's so essentially the whole like life expectancy thing. It's bullshit.
It's skewed because of birth rate
It's
or
infant
mortality.
mortality.
rate.
Yeah. If you take out infant mortality, if you make it past a certain age, like if you make it past like 5 or 6 or something like that, or if you make it into puberty, you're good to go.
Yeah, usually you're gonna
Yeah.
make it. That's most of your complications are gonna happen earlier.
Right.
Yeah, especially in that time frame. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, so far so good. I'm not dead.
Yeah. That's why I glue pubes onto my child now to let God know that he's already going through it.
It's
and
like the
can't take
ram's
him.
blood on the doorway.
Yeah. I glue pubes onto my baby every night.
It's a little merkin for
Yeah.
Rory.
He wears a merkin for safety.
Yeah. Merkins are hilarious.
They
By
are.
the way, it's like what a different time. Dan, you know what a merkin is?
No.
It's a pube toupee.
Oh.
And basically,
Pube
like,
wig, yeah.
yeah. So in frontier days, no one wanted to bang a kid or someone that was too young, but
Mhm.
some people did.
Didn't they?
They didn't, which is interesting. But because of the crabs problem in the brothels, they would
Mhm.
often have to shave their pubic hair.
Right.
But the way that they could show that, like, hey, this person is of age,
right.
they didn't want to bang someone that wasn't ready to be banged. Basically, they would.
Well, I don't buy that, but go on.
I'm sure most of them didn't. I'm sure there were
Yeah.
plenty that did, but they would wear pube toupees or merkins in order to show, like, hey, I don't have my pubes right now because I had to shave them off because of crabs, but I'm wearing this thing to make you feel comfortable.
Right.
These fake pubes are gonna make you feel better about banging. me
Whereas
for money.
now it's just like my wife gets lasered to have a bare vagina.
I want to get lasered.
No, I mean like she's laser surgery is making her vagina into a bear's vagina.
Oh, a bear.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Like a
getting
bear.
laser.
Yeah,
is like,
it's a lip rearrangement.
from what I've heard, it's like a little rubber band. Just
Don't worry, she
constantly-
doesn't listen.
I know. Katie does though.
Yeah, she'll pass it on.
Yeah, there's a whole web of communication that you're neglecting.
It's all right. He's already upset my parents.
Yeah, he's
I've-
pissing
I've
everybody off
burned
today.
every bridge
Yeah.
today.
But yeah, when you get laser hair removal, apparently it's like having like a little rubber band just snapping against you constantly.
Doesn't sound
It's
bad
not
at all.
good.
Doesn't sound bad.
I used to pick Courtney up from her actual like laser things, and she was just like, "Oh my god, I'm in so much fucking pain."
Yeah, it's a sensitive area. I could see that.
Yeah. It was not. Didn't seem fun.
So that was the
And then she was
topless.
like, "Please don't make me go back."
the topless
I-
duel.
I was like, "Go, you're going to."
We have 5 more sessions I paid for. I'm getting my deal on this Groupon, Courtney.
Oh no, she paid for it.
Oh.
But I was
You just
like,
made her?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My question, I guess, after this episode is, give me 2 ladies you'd like to see participate in topless duel nowadays, and for what cause, what reason, why are they fighting?
I have one.
Okay.
So it's going to be Jessica Chastain, Dallas Bryce Howard. Who's the real one?
Yeah.
Who's not the replicant?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. That's the fight.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah. Because they're the same person.
Or Fisher and
Fisher and, God, who's the other
Amy
one?
Adams?
Yeah.
They have
They're a little.
diverged enough.
Yeah. These days.
They
I mean,
used to be, yeah.
hell, all 4 of them
Yeah.
in the ultimate fight.
Just like a Hell in the Cell.
Who's the real badass redhead here?
You get down with that.
I think I win. I don't think anyone's
I
thinking
can't top that.
Yeah.
Also,
I would say just I don't even fucking know who mine would be. Serena and Venus to figure it out once and for all. It's better.
That's pretty good.
Because I actually think Venus Williams should have been the better tennis player,
mm-hmm.
but she got hurt and her mind wasn't there. Like Venus, I think is more physically talented, but she got injured and she never had like the fucking like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan like psychopath instinct.
Yeah.
Whereas like Serena, to her credit, I'm not talking shit on her, like Serena is also incredibly physically gifted, but not as much as Venus, I think. But man, psychopath mind. Like,
Yeah, no.
on the court, fucking psychopath.
Will to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just no one will stop me. I will murder all of you. So
Also, let's just get your thoughts on Princess Pauline right here with their little portrait. What are we thinking?
whoa.
Obviously not 56 in that portrait, but
Would, although the picture is a little different from the portrait. And the picture is actually, the portrait's a lie. So the portrait, I'm looking at the pictures now, and yes, the portrait,
well, the portrait is from I believe 1860.
oh yeah?
So
Okay, well, this photograph is from 1854, and it's
Is it-
pretty bad.
Which Princess Pauline is it?
it's right here. So look at the portrait.
Did some work on the nose.
Yeah, those are. That's the first filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She faced tuned. She had the The painter face tuner.
Yeah, that's. What about the other one? We get the other one.
I couldn't find. I can see if I can find the photo of her, but I couldn't find
Countess
anything about
Anastasia, right?
it. Yeah.
I'll see. Countess Anastasia Kilmansegg.
Whatever.
Yeah.
German, Italian, whatever.
Kilsman.
That's so confusing. It's funny because I search for her, and Pauline keeps coming back up, probably because of their. Oh, here
Topless Duel. Yeah.
you go. Here's a reenactment.
There's a lot of reenactments. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
They're all on Pornhub for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to use those for the Instagram post. I'll edit them
Okay.
mildly.
Yeah.
Like as thin of a bar as I can
You
get.
should just put 2 little pink circles over the
Yeah.
nipples.
I'll put emojis.
Uh.
Yeah. The what?
The
Emoji.
Home Alone, the
Yeah, yeah,
scream,
yeah,
yes.
Now, did you learn anything today?
Yeah. I learned that women deserve everything men deserve, including the awful things.
I would agree with that.
Equality
It's a
is what
two-way
you make
street.
it. Is what you make it.
Yeah. Equality is not just
You can't pick and choose your equality.
no. You get everything.
I learned that someone thought it was appropriate for a man to have to put himself in a hole to fight a woman.
And you know what?
It wasn't even a fight, though. It was a drag contest.
That part of it makes me enjoy. So, obviously science was a thing for a while, math was a thing for a while, Newton and all that stuff. But it feels like 1870-ish on is when like science really started to be a thing, where people started to really understand the modernity of the human race.
Right.
But they didn't really know what science was, and they thought it could be anything.
Yeah.
And they're just grasping in the dark.
Yeah, it's a
In
lot of throwing shit at
hilarious ways.
throwing shit at a wall and
Yeah.
hoping stuff sticks. Yeah.
In good ways and bad ways, because there's all the race stuff too. It's like, well, obviously, the black brain is
Right. No,
so there's horrible things, but there's also just like hilarious fucking shit where they're just trying to guess, or they're like, well, we'll figure out how.
I mean, someone had to figure out a lobotomy.
Right.
Which is insane if you think about it. It's like, yeah, they're really acting up. Maybe we put an ice pick through their eyeball.
You never know. You never know.
It's science. My hypothesis is if I put this ice pick through their eyeball, they'll be better. Science.
Not wrong, and then you're not wrong. So
Yeah. It's like, well, they don't move a lot, but they also can't speak. They're not as much of a problem.
they aren't acting up anymore.
You're welcome, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
I'm also not against the idea of like seeing, I don't know, Conor McGregor in a hole fight Amanda Nunes.
But that's the whole thing. It's just like, here's my hypothesis. Like, it's just, you could hypothesize anything.
We were talking about this literally 2 nights ago, actually.
And also, he would lose. He'd get kicked in the face until he died,
Good.
which is fine, yeah.
But Rob and I were literally talking about this 2 nights ago because I started rewatching Deadwood, and like there's a scene where a hooker shoots the doctor, or no, the hooker shoots a guy through the head, and the entry wound's on one side of the head, the exit's on the other, and the doctor is like with the guy that's going to cart the guy out, and he's like, hold on 1 second. He just pokes a stick through the guy's brain, and the guy with the cart's like, can you just like load him on the cart, man? Like, what are you doing? That's
Right.
why no one trusted
And
doctors,
that
because at
takes
first,
place in the 1870s. And I was telling Jake, I was like, dude, my fucking grandpa only went to medical school like 70-ish years after
Yeah,
that.
your grandpa's not a real doctor.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Who's Hitler?
Men.
Are men Hitler in this one? Hold on. Flowers?
Maybe. Actually,
No.
here, can I tell you? Actually, here's who Hitler actually is. Wealth.
Nobility. Yes.
Yeah. Affluenza.
Oh God, I forgot about that kid. The kid in, was it Dallas?
Something. You know what makes sense though? Or you know what's wild though? That argument makes sense.
It's not something I can't wrap my head around. Like I can wrap my head around someone being so rich they don't understand consequences.
You can be so other things you can't understand things.
Yeah.
So why can't you be so rich you can't understand things?
You just have no concept of what reality is because yours is objectively different from other people's.
There is logic there.
Yeah, but I totally get it. I don't think it's a good defense in court.
It depends on the person.
No.
It makes more sense for.
I'm sorry. No. It's not. It doesn't depend on the person.
It does depend on the person.
Give me a situation.
Everything is case by case. Everything is case by case.
Sure. Give me an example of anyone not being like, say they're so like, literally. You do not get to be like forgiven for a crime because you didn't know the consequence. Like, I can't claim.
No, there's absolutely.
You can't make an
situations
ignorance
where
claim on
you're
that.
so fucking warped that you don't understand what you're doing.
But there's right and wrong. Like,
Yeah, but the point is you don't know what right and wrong is because you're so fucking warped.
but that's
If
like
you take the all right, take the
but-
wealth out of it. Take wealth out of it.
I
Say you
like
got-
understand.
Say you just were raised in you actually had no money at all, but you're raised in some bizarre fucking cult where you don't understand what right and wrong is.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's a fair point. You weren't even ever told about society.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
you were removed enough. I'm not saying that kid in particular that it works for him.
yeah.
But yes, affluenza can work if you are raised a certain way.
But I feel like it's different because you have access. The
you?
defense
But you don't have empathy.
the defense
But you don't have empathy.
But what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter if you have empathy or not, because plenty of people without empathy get fucking convicted of shit all the time.
I guess empathy is not the right word. You don't even you don't have comprehension even.
Sure, but what I'm saying is that like the people that were raised in the cult were forcefully not told about it, whereas the really rich person, they have the ability to learn that.
Yeah, but
no
that,
one's
that
stopping
person
them.
wasn't that old. He's like 17, 18, so you can't.
Well,
you can't tell
the
a
best defense was that he was a minor.
Right. You can't tell a child that you should have learned about this.
Right, exactly. No, I get that. I'm saying that there's a better argument for him being a
Certainly
minor.
You can't use affluenza for a 40-year-old.
No,
But-
can you imagine? I'm sorry, I'm rich.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, but you can absolutely use it for a
For a
16
kid,
year,
oh well,
17
yeah.
year
You just that's a layer on top of a minor case, though. Like
Right.
that's not.
I
There's
think I don't necessarily agree with that particular thing, but I think affluenza is. You could go down
it's
that
gray.
route.
It's gray.
I wouldn't actually call it affluenza.
Oh
I would
God,
just-
no,
You can't use that.
no.
Don't use the term. If I was a lawyer, I would be like, other people made him so stupid.
Yeah, this is everyone's failure but his.
Right.
Which
Yeah, always pass
Is-
the buck.
And by the way, that gets used all the time.
yeah, that
always
does.
So-
pass the buck.
Look, I'm just
Yeah.
saying I'm right.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Yeah, it's gray.
Just let him win.
Yeah, I'm letting him.
Let him win.
You win, Rob.
All right, I did.
So yeah, that was the street beef for the week. It was between this and there was another one I'm gonna have to do for the Patreon. It was two French dudes dueling in two hot air balloons.
What?
That's fucking rad.
yeah.
Well, you gotta
Save
pay
that.
for that shit.
Yeah, you gotta pay for that kind of content.
So we'll be doing that later down the line.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the topless duel. It was one of the last, probably.
Feels like the
last
last
modern-
Duel.
Yeah, last modern topless duel.
Hey, listeners, if you're interested in checking out some merch, go on over to softcorehistory.com. We got a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah. Freedom Torch gear. We got mugs, coffee, and Freedom Torches.
Yeah, it's a great mug. Dan, did you design it yourself?
I did.
Dan designed this himself, guys. So why don't you
I
support?
watched him do it. I
support-
looked over and I was like, "What are you doing?" And then he asked for my feedback, and I said, "It looks hot."
Support emerging artists.
It is hot.
Dan is an artist. Support his art form, and
Look-
support
look
us
at
on
me
Patreon.
being like
An
the
artist.
voice of women here.
You are.
I just keep doing
Really?
episodes about women.
I agree. And by the way, if you are pregnant, smoke.
You should.
It's your right.
It is your right.
Of course, leave a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple. Of course, leave an actual review on Apple. Please and thank you.
The text reviews help a lot.
A lot. Tell a friend about the podcast. If you like us, if you want to help us grow, help us get our own independence, our own freedom from the shackles of work.
Yeah.
So we can do it, yeah. I mean, the bigger this gets, the more we can just dedicate our time to doing this podcast. So you'll get a better product. You'll get more episodes, probably.
Yeah, I mean, the more freedom we have, the more time we have to do episodes.
That's true. We could do an episode every day if this is all we did.
And follow us at Softcore History on Instagram, where we have plenty of memes, plenty of clips, plenty of just, good old Instagram content.
TikTok as well.
TikTok as well. That's not as important, though, because I feel like we're just going to get... I saw the the country community came after you for our last TikTok.
They did. They were very mad at my
They're not
breakdown
happy.
of Farmer's Daughter, which I stand by
You
as
should.
100%.
Don't back
accurate.
down.
Oh, I
I'll
wouldn't.
never back down. He gave a drifter his farm because his drifter fucked his
That
daughter.
farmer had terrible judgment.
Yeah, that farmer should have. The middle of that song should have been that farmer taking his shotgun and putting it in the drifter's mouth and giving him two options. One, he leaves town. Two, his head leaves his body.
You can either relocate or I can relocate your brains.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
That's
choice.
how Farmer's Daughter should end. But it didn't, because that farmer was a cuck boy.
And with that, for Rob Fox and Jake Goldman, I'm Dan Jester, and you just got soft served.